Had a good week?
Huh?
You had a good week?
Yeah, not too bad. I can't even think. Oh, yeah, I had a sales meeting, so I was up in Stratford for 2 days.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yeah, a fancy hotel.
Stratford.
Yeah, Stratford, up near Warwick.
Oh, yeah. On Avon.
That's the one.
not Stratford, East London, is it?
Warwick. Oh, yeah, we've got audio there too, that's good. And quite happy to have a break from the NFL games, in all honesty.
Yeah, I can quite believe.
I think a 1 week gap was required. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been alright. Apart from that, going up to see Palace on Wednesday.
Oh, it was literally this week.
Yeah,
oh wow, I must have had a telepathic wave to ask you this
100%,
week.
100%. Yeah, I was like, what did you know?
I just thought, it hasn't been a while since you mentioned it. So I keep meaning to ask.
That's right. Yeah, it was this week, and I went to see it. It was a hell of a grilling. It was 2.5 hours of.
Nice.
3-on-1 interview, so that was hard. But
3-on-1.
But they were nice enough about it. They said, so you did really well, but we went for 2 trained professionals instead. Well, I can't really argue with that. Bearing in mind, it's not my thing. So good experience while it lasted.
Yeah, exactly. And you got paid for it as well, didn't you? So it wasn't a bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't completely free.
I got free games out and some nice places I've never been before. So getting some nice tickets and nice seats.
Watch some football you never would have watched in your life.
100%. And I've met some good people. So you never know when you might call on those people, I suppose. So.
Exactly. Good stuff. Right.
And I get my life back.
And you get life. Most important of all when you're planning a wedding.
100%. Not wrong there.
Right. Let's get going.
The whole Liam QRD effect. Not really up.
Nigel couldn't make it. I rang up Mendel Norley, said he could make it.
Don't do this whole Phil Predator guy. He's always managed to do well. He is a shocking person. You guys got a trophy? No. It was very even.
Well, like from Michelle Mendel Norley.
I'm tagged, Jack! I'm fucking tagged!
Hello and welcome to a Sunday edition of the LOC Report, and I'm joined once again by the co-host Chris Leach. How's it going, Chris?
Very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. And yes, it's this is a bit of a novelty for us.
Yeah,
because normally we'd be doing this on a Wednesday. We could have projections of what's going to happen in the Thursday night game. A bit of projections of what's going to happen today. Well, we've got a whole new approach to what
this
we're
is
going to
more
do
like
today.
pre-game build-up at this point,
100%,
as opposed to pre.
We feel like the British version of the ESPN. That's it. Good morning, sports fans. That's
Good
it.
morning, indeed. Countdown to Sunday.
Absolutely right. That's it. Yeah, we're without like an all-star panel, but you've just got us. So that's good enough. That's good enough. So we're interested to see how a Sunday podcast would affect how we do things and how many people watch and whatever. So
in theory we'll have a bit more clarity. Well, we will have more clarity on injuries and also on lineups. You would think, because all moves tend to have stopped by this point. We've also obviously got the Thursday night games starting as well, which provides a little bit more direction to the matchups.
That's right, exactly. That Thursday night craziness, where we basically get everything wrong on a Wednesday. We can't get that wrong today. So, hopefully we should be a little bit more accurate for you. And well, it won't be happening very often this Sunday thing. Well, maybe it will. I don't know.
We'll have to see.
See if you prefer it. See if we prefer it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we go.
But before we get into all that, of course, we need to start with our league news.
That's true.
And league news, no highlights this week, so we'll just delve straight into the key transactions, of which there were quite a few last week. I've not put down the dollar values on my notes right here, but I will bring them up on the screen so you can see them as well. So starting off, we have Hunter Henry was added for DeMarcus Robinson. What week is this? This is definitely the wrong week, isn't it? We're off to a great start. Here we go. There we go. DeMarcus Robinson was dropped for Hunter Henry for $29 by Tom's Tyrants. Wow. Obviously, Henry, first game back from his injury, I believe he got 22 points. He did. However, both touchdowns came late on in the fourth quarter. What do you make of this transaction?
It's a big number, but at this time of the year, if you've got the money, you might as well spend it. There's not going to be that many hot guys off the waivers in the second half of the season. No. You think, so we've seen anyone who's going to break out has probably done so by now. So having someone like that who's coming back, yes, he's massively injury prone. Yes, it might last a couple of weeks, but if that $29 wins you a couple of games, and it's well worth doing.
And that Chargers offense has been struggling a bit. They sorely need another reliable option behind Keenan Allen, and obviously Hunter Henry filled that straight away. To your credit about the budgets and stuff, look, we've had 2 weeks of the instalment money now, which is quite substantially more than it was last season. As much as 40 if you're a team like me, but you can get 10 a week if you're in the middle, 10 every other week if you're in the middle bracket too. So there is a lot of money flowing around. So 100%. Not surprising. Speaking of which, next one, Deshaun Jackson for Auden Tate. I did that move, and I did that for $25. Now Jackson's not going to play this week. No. There was rumblings he could play this week, but he was starting to be added by teams last week and got dropped again before Sunday. So I wanted to make sure I got him for when he does come back. What do you make of the move?
Well, I think that is a deep threat for the Eagles. I think that he is the premier candidate for that. He's certainly more explosive than the Auden Tate is what you had before, especially when he comes back. And also the offense is so much better. Yeah, so much better. So I see the upside there. Yeah. It's a bit of a stash, but you need to get him now to be able to get him at all. Yeah. And I think for you, who has been struggling this year, you need to spend a little bit to accumulate potentially. Same as the next one we're about to see. We see that just on top. We see Robbie Anderson there.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson for James White, $23 by me again.
Absolutely. It's exactly the same. We see Darnold coming back from mono, of all the things to have. So he's coming back from that. Robbie Anderson was much better last week. Yeah, there's shoots of positivity there. I think for the whole of that Jets offense, you're certainly going to see that. And Robbie Anderson is Darnold's number one target, and he was last year too. So I think that picking him up for 23 there again is good value at this point of the year, where there aren't that many number one receivers that are going to come off the board.
And it's 2 guys that I was going to slyly try and add under the radar. But obviously, like I said, Jackson started to get added last week, so I had to make sure I got him in. Anderson had that blow-up game, which, I couldn't do it slightly anymore. No. And I've got a statistic on what you were saying for Anderson about being just number one as well. I think it's over the last 6 games he's played with Sam Darnold. If that pace was spread over the course of the season, he'd be on course for something like 1,100 yards and I think it was maybe double-digit touchdown, something like that.
I mean, that's great value there. 20, I think 23 there. I think that potentially has more value long-term than Deshaun Jackson does. Even though your season might be over, it's still taking that off somebody else who just put on the bench.
It's not looking good, but it's definitely...
You put a fork in yourself last week.
I did, but we've seen teams come back from a forking before.
The fork's being removed.
No, the fork's still firmly in there, but I'm just saying, you can kind of nudge it out.
You've got a bit more of a chance with those,
it's not looking good.
No doubt.
And the final one I picked out here was Jamal Williams from Malcolm Brown Detonators, and this was actually a free agent ad, not a waiver move. And the reason I say this one's interesting is because he had a really good week last week. I'll bring up the points. He obviously missed it the week before because he got injured very early on in that Philly game because of that horrendous hit he took where he got a concussion. Aaron Jones obviously beasted it last week, but this was a very split backfield before that, and that showed against Detroit where he was actually better than Aaron Jones and got 20 points. No one added him, and the Aaron Jones owner did, and this we'll come to see in a second. He might be playing with Aaron Jones in more than one way this week.
Possibly. I mean, I think that for maximum value, I'll have to pick him up. For everybody else, I think you see him as a bit of a risk in the sense that, Aaron Jones has proved himself to be the number one guy in Green Bay so far this year. Mm-hmm. Jamal Williams coming back in. You don't want it to be a muddled backfield. No. We've seen Ollie do this before. Yeah, I think we had the Buffalo backfield some years ago, and the Eagles backfield some years ago too. Yeah. And he used that to his effect. Mm-hmm. So I think it'd be the same thing here. He's not afraid to do it. Both of them are very, very capable run. I think Aaron Jones is obviously the better of the two, but having Jamal Williams there, it doesn't hurt, and especially for free.
That was the most surprising thing.
It's a no risk thing, especially when you drop someone like Malcolm Brown, who has limited value for Ollie.
Yeah, certainly.
Ben, pick him up. What are you doing?
You need that hack. Yeah, it is interesting with Aaron Jones because while from fantasy point of view, he has obviously been the better running back, but in real life running back terms, Jamal Williams actually got more work than Aaron Jones in the game preceding his injury and in his return game. Yes, they're less effective touches as it happens, but it is a thing to keep an eye on it. But smart ads
sure.
So that's the transactions. Then we have the trade block, but Ednader still has Aaron Rodgers on there, as far as I know. My team, Gridiron Gang, Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Freeman, Philip Lindsay, Devin Singletary, DJ Moore, and Brandon Cooks all still on there. And I had to remove yours because your trade candidate has now left the team.
I got rid of him.
And Bucking the Trend informed me this week that his entire team is on the trade block. So if you would like anyone on Mike's team, go and talk to Mike.
And this is just to make sure that everyone knows who is on his team.
We can bring it up on the screen.
That's right, we can.
As well. So we've got Daniel Jones, Randall Cobb, Melvin Gordon, Adam Thielen, Philip Dorsett, DK Metcalf, Kirk Cousins, Peyton Barber, Alvin Kamara, AJ Green, Mohamed Sanu, and if you really want to get into it, Robbie Gould and the Saints D.
Yeah. If anyone's got any serious offers there, then
they're all on the block.
There's not that many you'd want.
I want to see the bumper deal for his entire team. That's what I want to see.
Where are you, Pat? Where are you? That's it. You want to get rid of Devontae Adams for the whole team.
I mean, Mike might take it at this point. We'll see. So we'll go straight into the weekly recaps then. Last week we picked this game here, I believe, for the marquee matchup, and it was a pretty good one to pick. So marquee matchup of last week, Ben SSTs against Tom Sirens. Ben SSTs took on Tom's Tyrants in last week's marquee matchup, as these teams were both coming in riding high off of win streaks, but only one could win, and Tom's Tyrants did. This game did live up to a marquee matchup for once, 114 to 105. Looking down, not the recap, but the box score, please. For Tom's Tyrants, leading the way, Kyler Murray with 35 points. Hallelujah. The franchise QB has been found. Fournette chipped in 12. Chris Carson, 22. Chris Godwin, 15. And the Niners D, sticking with the 2 weeks in a row, 17 points. On Ben SST's side of the ball, Deshaun Watson had a good day with 31, as did Nick Chubb at 24. And then only Edelman and Justin Tucker topped 10 points with 11 each. So Tom's Tyrants take this one, moving their all-time record against Ben SSTs to now, I believe, 6-5 in favour of Tom's Tyrants. Both teams 4-2 now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this game and you think to yourself, look, we said this last week that it would be a very close game, and there'd be, one player or two that would get one of the teams across the line, and that's what's happened here. I mean, so there's not a great deal of difference between the two, really, in the way you look at it. They've both got a stud running back that's done well. They've both had a relatively good day with the QB.
Special teams.
Absolutely, but this is what we get into, is that the pickup of the last 2 weeks is that the 49ers do, who've been sat there on waivers for ages and ages and ages and come up trumps. Jared Goff's been a pick machine this year. We said, I think we alluded to that last week.
78 pass yards against that Niners defense.
Absolutely.
So
they are the real deal. The 49ers are a real deal this year. That's it, 100%. And that's the difference here. I don't think there's a great deal on Tom's team that you can be particularly excited about from Chris Godwin down there. Chark, who cares?
Chark's been very solid. He's been one of the revelation receivers. Against New Orleans, that was a tougher matchup.
I get it, but in this particular game, yes, that's it. You'd expect him to struggle against that Saints D, but
sure.
At the same time, nothing to write home about this week. Eckler's going to that backfield, particularly in the Chargers this year, have been a bit of a mess anyway. But that backfield will become increasingly a mess with Melvin Gordon being brought back into it. So he went off like an absolute train, but now that train's kind of derailed a little bit.
As does the rest of the Chargers off.
Indeed. It's nice and reassuring to see Leonard Fournette doing better. It's reassuring that Chris Godwin's the number one in Tampa. He can gain 151 yards.
Yeah, he's definitely overtaken Mike Evans.
100%. And Chris Carson's been great value for him all year. So, you look at Dave's team, it's been very solid all year. We've seen performances where he's been getting to in and around 100 points a lot this year. But skill positions again, Brady, Kelsey, Lockett, patchy. Kelsey particularly, you'd think would be a bit more patchy
he's
now.
had a slow start. And certainly with Mahomes going down, that hurts
too. The difference here is Julian Edelman, is the number one receiver in New England now, with everybody else either leaving or being Antonio Brown or
Antonio Brown
or
injured,
or injured or whatever. So his kickers kept it there just in time. But at the same time, I think Tom's skill positions set him up for the year better than Dave's do.
There's a bit more pop. We've always said about my dad's team that it's definitely solid and stable, unlike the Conservative government, but it's it doesn't quite pop.
Yes, they yet might.
And not in the good way.
But the 49ers do the pickup is the pickup of the last 2 weeks, and especially for free, it's great value.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game, then we have what were they called last week? I can't even remember.
Literally, like it's gonna revert back to Ross's team because none of us can remember. None of us can remember.
Ross's team.
If you can remember, do let us know.
Yeah, please do comment along.
We can't keep up with
iPad. Yeah, but for now we'll just refer to them. In the current iteration, it was John Potter against Predators. Oh, come on, Jingle, don't fail me now.
Oh, I think it might.
Oh, God.
Yep.
In week 6, John Potter, you are a wizard, and you took on Predators, John Potter came out on top. I guess he's got that wizardry going for him. 4-2 now on the season, 2-game win streak. Meanwhile, Predators fall to 2-4. They won, however. It wasn't a sexist against, but a 92-84 matchup. You can never down. That's a respectable week, but not everything was respectable. Matt Ryan got 39 of John Potter's points. Miles Sanders, of all people, getting 15, the second highest scorer, and then Brandon McManus getting 12. John Potter did have a 0 score in Emmanuel Sanders. Meanwhile, Predators, Lamar Jackson was good, 31. David Johnson was good, 22. And then no one else was over 10 points. And not so good. History of this matchup now, Ross's team is 4-4 all-time against Predators.
Yeah, John Potter or whatever Ross's team's called week on week. But bit of a spell on Predators this week.
We're getting them all.
Oh yes, that's it. I mean, all these teams we've seen highs of 170 points with a very similar sort of lineup as this, and this week they just didn't do it. I mean, you think of where you've been or where they've been recently. Lamar's been consistently great throughout the course of the year. David Johnson's getting much better now. The Cardinals are getting much better, and after that, I mean,
he was playing Atlanta, I think, as more maybe symptomatic.
Possibly, but there have been shoots of positivity, I suppose. But you look at down there and you go, Aaron Jones nowhere near as good. Will Fuller against KC, you'd expect better. Bearing in mind that he is the ultimate boom or bust player. We've seen him get 40, seen him get 4. This is today he get 4. Mike Williams, sadly, not benefiting from particularly good offense. Malcolm Brown isn't Todd Gurley.
Yeah, I
didn't
like the spot start either against the Niners. Niners very good run defense.
100%. 100%. Yeah, he's not matchup proof. And the Chargers D against Pittsburgh. Yes, they got a third string QB in right now, but he did a rather good job.
The Duck Hunter.
That's the Duck Hunter. Is that a thing?
He won a duck calling competition in Alabama, which is the most Alabama thing I've ever heard.
100%. That's it. So
other than banging your sister.
Well, yes, that. Yeah.
It's one of few times on this podcast where I've broken Chris.
I've never been there, so I don't know. The people of Alabama. That's it. We hate to say this, but there is a stereotype. We live many, many, many thousands of miles from you, thankfully. So on the other side, I mean, you just think to yourself, what sort of wizardry gets you to the point where they win this game? I mean, Matt Ryan's 38 points makes a hell of a difference, and Miles Sanders, as you say, but after that, I mean, it's so bad. Manuel Sanders has done, I think, over the 2-week stretch, has done less than a point.
I think he may have got injured. He may have had some poison potion or something.
Clearly, that's it, because he's just been a non-factor. Mario Cooper obviously got injured, but that's by and by in that one. Robert Woods is, again, we're playing roulette with this, but he's only got 16 yards and a touchdown. So without that touchdown, it's an awful lot worse. He obviously doesn't win the game. And the kickers really helps him out there. Bearing in mind it's a 16-point game, and the kickers hit 3
every
field
point
goals.
Is the difference.
100%. So look, I just don't think that Ross can continue doing that. 90 points out of that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And the Falcons don't play Arizona every week. So that's the two worst secondaries in the NFL. Atlanta and Arizona, they play each other in that week, and he's got the matchup right. We often say that playing the matchup's the way to go, and that is the case this time. Could Ollie have won the game? This is the thing with a bit.
I don't think he had.
With a better selection.
No,
he wouldn't have done it.
If anything, Ross should have done better as well, with perhaps
100%.
smarter starts.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks for these two teams really are the Harry Potter to your Quidditch team, because they do carry you somewhat. Lamar Jackson certainly has papered over some cracks.
I totally agree. Yes, I mean he's been an absolute revelation fantasy-wise this year, and it was an interesting experiment to see how well he'd do. But Matt Ryan, by the way, has had a real resurgence.
It helps that his defense is porous, he just has to just to keep his team alive, and they still lost. So there you go. Ross Expelliarmus detonators to the loss column. Well, meanwhile, they pick up another win. Next game, then, if someone at home was counting how many we got in there, please do let us know. Next, we have Gridiron Gang against the Tuckfards. The 1-4 Gridiron Gang took on the 4-1 Tuckfards in what we colloquially called the 4-1s Bowl last week. Tuckfards was upset in a previous week. They were not upset in this one, as they took it 110-86. As we look down, Tuckfards, Patrick Mahomes chipping in his last good game for them, 25 points for a while at least. Mark Ingram got 13, Adrian Peterson got 13, and then the special teams kicker, Joey Sly, 13 points, Patriot Stevens, 31, and that proved to be the difference in this game, as that was really not the only difference between these two. Gridiron Gang having a more solid week than they have done. Brady got 22, Devontae Freeman got 24, and Philip Lindsay got 14. The special teams once again letting them down with only 1 and 6 between the kicker and D. So Gridiron Gang falls to 1-5, lost a streak of 3. Meanwhile, Tuckfards are 5-1 now. History of this matchup: the Tuckfards are 9-6 all time against Gridiron Gang.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really want to dwell on the fact that you could score 85, because that's not bad for you recently.
No,
it's not terrible.
My team's been in and around 90 points more than you would think.
Yeah,
it has been. But yes, there's definitely been a few letdowns.
That's right. I mean, there isn't, again, a great deal of difference between the two teams. In fact, the big difference, as has been proven every week since week 2, is that the Patriots D is absurd. And because the Patriots D is absurd, and because Phil's managed to luck his way into having him in his team.
Yep, let's not paint this any other way. He completely lucked
into that.
Could have been any defense.
Absolutely, that's right. You just pick one and go with it. He lucked into having the Patriots D on a year where they are absolutely the best. This is one of those defenses that people are going to look back on in history and go, "Wow, that was it."
We'll see when they play teams that aren't the Giants, the Dolphins, the Jets. But, they've got a bit of a tougher schedule coming up if they can keep it up.
That's right. Especially if they go on to do something great this year, I think that they'll be in the same breath as same breath, and then a bit of a cough, and then the 85 players.
Yeah, maybe in the same realm as the 8,000 Ravens, 2,000 Ravens.
Yeah,
probably a good comparison.
That's it. So, they've got to go. I mean, the Patriots have got to go have season unbeaten yet. So we'll see how we go. However, this is the big thing here. I'm not going to talk too much about your team next because it's nice to see Freeman doing well at last. It's nice to see Brady doing ticking along.
Yep.
Nice to see Philip Lindsay doing all right at last. What I'm going to talk about is Phil's team, because Phil's team is the one that I'm most worried about now. Is that he's effectively got 2 QBs right now, with the Patriots D scoring QB points every week. Patrick Mahomes is injured. That's gone. He now has to pick somebody else up. He said he's got Matt Stafford on the bench. Matthew Stafford, if you look at Matthew Stafford's points over the last 6 weeks, they are absolutely bang average. 29 points is great, but bang average in the other 3 games that he's played. 33 in the first day.
It's the case of, in a good matchup, he'll be fine.
That's right.
But in a less than positive.
We're going to come to this later on. So he's playing the Vikings this week. And so he's got to play, and he's playing. Was it the Giants the week after that?
Yeah.
So, which, this time of the year in New York ain't great. So look, that's one of the key factors of why this team's doing well. Other than that, his skill positions are garbage. You look at Ingram, who's been a bit of a revelation so far, bearing in mind where he picked him up from. But Allen, not great. Fitzgerald, not great. Landry, not great. All, especially in Allen's case and Landry's case, they've got QBs who aren't firing. In Larry's case,
they spread it around.
Exactly that. They don't need to use him as much as they used to. I think that...
And can we just say Peterson was a 1 week play?
100%.
Playing Miami.
Against Miami. I know that the Redskins have got rid of Gruden as their head coach. I know that the interim guy's come in and he wants to run it a bit more. But, like I said, they're not going to play Miami every week. And, 118 yards without... And, score 13 points without a touchdown. You're not going to get that sort of thing every week. You look at Phil's bench as well. You might bring Golden Tate in there, but
that touchdown was fluke as hell. It was a long touchdown, driving those points. Remains to be seen if they can do that.
That's right. And I probably is the number one receiver if everyone's fit, but they've still got Saquon Barkley to bring in when he is eventually back from injury. So
is he back this week? I can't
remember. He might. We'll see later on.
Yeah,
see who he puts in.
We'll see.
But yeah, I think that if he's going to have sustained success throughout the course of the year, he's got to have a solid QB who's not going to do a Kirk Cousins on him like last year. But this is the thing, is that he's got to have somebody there who can get him through every week and hope that Saquon Barkley turns up and becomes that outlet.
And really, you look as well since week 4, discount week 7 a bit because he did get injured, I think, in the second quarter. But he's not been back. He has been playing with a high ankle sprain. It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Probably for Phil's season, this injury may even be the best thing to happen. Yeah. Yes, you're going to go probably 3-4 weeks, whatever, and then his bye. But then after that, you're going to get full Mahomes. So if the Talkpods can keep it up long enough and maintain that playoff spot,
they've got enough of a buffer between them and the other teams around them that they can afford to do that. So I think that he'd probably be able to get, if he even loses 2 or 3 before then. So he's still going to have half a chance of making it through. So, I think that's a real bummer for Phil's year, but at the same time, he's got to hope the Patriots do keep scoring. Otherwise, that team turns from...
It could get ugly quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It turns from a very, very... a winning team to a very average one very quickly.
And our next game then, Iksan take on Pakistan. Last week, 1-4 Pakistan took on the 3-2 Iksan. Both teams vying to keep up for the wildcard race at this early stage. And Pakistan getting a untoward win, it would seem. 97-84. Quite a few middle scoring close games last week. But if we look down, Pakistan started Gardner Minshew. It did not pay off. It did not matter. Le'Veon Bell got 11, Terry McLaurin got 22, Tyreek Hill got 20, and Curtis Samuel got 20 in front of Pat's eyes in London.
Absolutely.
And on Iksan, Phillip Rivers had an okay day with 19, Dalvin Cook had a less Dalvin Cook day with 11, Kevin Ridley got 11, Zane Gonzalez got 10, and the Panthers got 21, but a consistent effort was not enough to overcome Pakistan. The history of this matchup, where is Pakistan or Iksan? Pakistan down there. Pakistan is now 4-3 all time against Iksan.
Now Ben's issue here is that he's got a lot of players that are on either garbage offenses or out of form. So you've got, and it's true. It's true, right? So you look at Phillip Rivers, for example, who isn't the same Phillip Rivers as last year. He's got 2 picks, a fumble. Yes, he's got 2 touchdowns as well. But it's for him, that isn't an unbelievable stat line. And fantasy-wise, it's not good. We've seen obviously better from lesser QBs. Certainly. Dalvin Cook, I'm worried about because amazingly at the halfway stage, Kirk Cousins has found his ability to throw.
I don't know if last week was so much that Philly is renowned for having a great run defense this year, but an awful pass defense for a game planning perspective. And you see that was the worst. If your worst game from your player is 11 points in week 6, I think I would take that.
You'd take that, yeah, absolutely.
But Detroit is next, though. That's not the easiest of matchups either.
No, that's right. And he's the one stud in there. Cortland Sutton, bad offense. Tyler Boyd, bad offensive line.
Calvin Ridley, it's a bad team.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. Derrick Henry, terrible offense. So we've seen them this week that the Titans have changed their QB again. They've gone back from Mariota to Tannehill, back to Mariota, back to Tannehill again. We're going with Tannehill this week. See how it goes. They may rely on Derrick Henry to be the catalyst of the offense. We'll see. But personally, if Derrick Henry can do what Jay Ajayi did for Tannehill in Miami, then I think that may well be a better option. But bearing in mind he doesn't run around a great deal.
No.
And in fairness to Ben, the Panthers D has really bailed him out.
Yeah, it's
been
what would have
ugly
been
week.
Yeah.
Pat, I'm really pleased that he's finally showing some form. I said that trade that he made worked.
Well, kind of. He still doesn't have Devontae Adams, but Tyreek Hill came back, which really helped.
That's it. Curtis Samuel come in.
Yeah.
Nice one. That's it, as we found with the trade.
And Terry McLaurin was a great
Terry McLaurin was a good pickup as well. Le'Veon Bell was chipping in there with some handy numbers. Maybe not great, but handy.
Pat just needs a quarterback. That's been Pat's issue from day one this season.
100%. That's it. And Gardner Minshew against New Orleans, I wouldn't have put it in a million years, simply because that is a tough matchup. Bearing in mind what QBs are back on the market, should we have a look at that?
Yeah, I'll just check his best. So he has Josh Allen on a bye as well.
Okay, so that's fair. You bring him back in, but if you needed somebody else, let's have a look and see who you would have. I
think Jacoby Brissett still out there.
You wouldn't go with Dole, and Mario's been dropped.
It's probably
Jared Goff this week.
Goff in the right matchup is fine.
That's not bad. That's terrible. Teddy Bridgewater not this week, but other weeks would be. He's been okay.
But really, you're looking at Brissett and Goff probably.
Yeah,
which are competent options.
Or would you go for someone a little bit out there? That's it. And this is going to be my opinion of the week that not everyone might agree with. That's
okay.
It. All right. So. My man in Carolina, Carl
Allen. He's been pretty good as well.
I think Carl Allen's been absolutely spot on since he's come in, and he's been flying under that radar.
Yeah, certainly.
Both in the NFL and from a fantasy perspective. Yeah. I'd love to see somebody maybe pick him up because I really do think he could dethrone Cam.
Pat. Yeah, I've seen rumblings. We were at the game last week, and the news story came out saying they may not even turn back to Cam. Yeah. So wouldn't be surprising at all. But in the meantime, Pat tumbles on. Is the
lovely,
word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tumbles on. Meanwhile, Lake-San, they're now at 3-3, and as you say, Chris, may as well not have bothered. And next, we have what did we name this bowl?
This was called the Race Centre Bowl, and then we talked about it, and it's no longer the Race Centre Bowl, it's called the Waypoint Bowl.
The Waypoint Bowl, okay. Next up, the Waypoint Bowl, Fudge Flies against Bucking the Trend. Fudge Flies and Bucking the Trend faced off in the Waypoint Bowl last week. These teams have been a bit star-crossed to start the season. Mike was coming in on a 2-game losing streak at 2-3. Meanwhile, Chris was coming in at 3-2. But Chris did take it 104-86. And so let's look down the lineups. Fudge Flies consistent effort really all around. Prescott 18, Hyde 17, McCaffrey 18, Evans 12. Hooper got 12, and the Steelers defense, great play, 15 points. Well, Disley, this week could have been better, but Disley unfortunately tore his Achilles. On the other side, Bucking the Trend, Kirk Cousins, we laughed, but we actually said this would be a good game, and it was 35 points for him. Sadly, there was not much else there. Nice for Bucking the Trend. Thielen got 12, and the Saints D got 15.
Yep, this is what I like to see from a team. This is consistent scoring. 17 was a good score. It was a popular score. From guys who, Carlos Hyde brought him in for a spot start, let's have a go.
Yeah.
That certainly turned into be the number one back in Houston, which is lovely to see this time of the year. Dak's been ticking along nicely. McCaffrey, he scored 5 points against Tampa earlier in the year, scored 17. That is a better result. Austin Hooper got him.
I will say though, they did a great job of stopping. He got 2 touchdowns. They did an absolutely phenomenal job of stopping him at the line.
Oh yeah, that's it. He is.
And one of those touchdowns was like a 20-yard reception too. So.
Well, that's gutting. Well, that's not gutting for that's very good for me, but gutting for Tampa. So, but let's see. Christian McCaffrey explosive all year. And sort of pegged down a little bit, but I'll still take 17 points. That's absolutely not bad. Mike Evans is patchy at best. Austin Hooper, great again, good pickup against
Arizona hemorrhage.
Atlanta against Arizona. That's been feeding all the time. I've seen this. Yeah, and the Steelers D against the Chargers, that was my little bit of a concern last week, but it worked out.
Well played, and it played off.
It worked out, so can't really argue with that. On the other side, as you say, nothing really to write home about. Mike's spot start of Kirk Cousins, we said was going to dramatically kill his week or keep him in it, and it kept him in it for a long time. Mm-hmm. But it's the lack of the cavalry behind that's really bothering him at the moment. Melvin Gordon coming back in. So it hasn't been like the fanfare we expected. Kamara's now injured. Thielen's been bubbling around for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but hasn't been.
So I think all that you need, something to summarise Mike's team quite well is Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu finds himself on an LOC roster every year by some grace of God.
Exactly that.
But finding himself on a roster and finding himself in a starting lineup are two different things.
100%.
That's where bucking the trend.
Very much so. Yeah. So he's not going to change your week. Unfortunately, look at the bench and he's not going to change much either. So he's got to hope that AJ Green comes back soon, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, he's still, from what I've seen, a few weeks away. But getting a bit more healthy with Dorset at least will certainly help. Bucking the trend falls to 2-4 now, while you motor on, Chris, to the second seed. 4-2.
I can't believe it. I really can't.
Oh, what a time to be alive in the LSE. And the last game last week, then we have, I don't remember what they were called last week. We're just going to call them what they were called this week. House Can Kick a Ball versus the Dream Team. Don't laugh. These two faced off in a 2-3 bowl, as it would be, as both these teams were 2-3. But the Dream Team, however, was coming in on a 2-game win streak. Weemal, Ollie Gardner was coming in on a 2-game lose streak. Both of those streaks were extended. Dream Team took this one 127-90. Looking down the lineups, the Dream Team, good day from Carson Wentz again, 25 points. Kerryon Johnson with 12. The highlight though, Stephon Diggs probably scoring more points than he has done in the season so far. 37, great week from him. Elliott 21, and Crosby and the Redskins 11 and 14 respectively. On Ollie Gardner's side, Russell Wilson had another good day. He's been a great pick for them. Not that he picked them, 33 points. Julio Jones got 11, Beckham got 10, and Golladay got 12, but really not a lot to scream and shout about outside of that. The Dream Team now, all time against Cash for Gold, are 3-2.
Yep, Russell Wilson's keeping this team alive.
Yeah.
Without him, there are some embarrassing scores.
Is Coach Gardner the Andy Dalton coach of the LOC? He's squarely in the middle. He's not going to go too high. He's not going to drop too low.
Yeah.
He's just going to stick in that meridian line.
100%, yeah. So if you're above Ollie, you're doing well. If you're below, you're having a below average year. Yeah, there is a bit of that. He's obviously had the hand that he's dealt. But there are some quality names in there. You think of the Julios, the Cooper Cupps, the Beckhams. Galladay's not bad either. So this team we've seen has been. He can elevate it, but recently it hasn't been that way.
No.
And Russell Wilson has been that constant point scoring threat.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst the Dream Team, you can say exactly the same thing. Really, is that
slow start for Viv, but
100%.
It had to come good eventually.
Exactly that, and I think it is. So as we sort of what you alluded to earlier on, the game scripting, in Minnesota last week really did help Diggs.
Yeah, don't see that. Viv could go back to a bit more obscurity now.
Absolutely, yes, right. I mean, that's obviously a huge touchdown total, but even if you scale it down, he's only scoring 1 touchdown every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. Still, and we haven't seen Viv really climb the heights to 100 points very often this year.
No, I think that's maybe the first time. Yeah.
So. I think that does. So I think the fact that Zeke is back and firing. I think that Kerryon Johnson's
he's been solid.
He's very,
really
very solid.
Yeah.
Yes, at RB2. I think Wentz, you know what you're going to get with him. You're always going to get somewhere between 20 and 30 points every week, just where it's going to be, depending on matchup. Mixon's been a real disappointment, but that's only because the offense is so bad in Cincinnati that and the lack of an offensive line there doesn't help him out at all. And a spot start the Redskins D against Miami, which is a bit of a no-brainer, really. So fair play to Viv. I think that was overall much more rounded team performance. That 81 points flatters that team, whatever Ollie's called, week in, week out. And Russell Wilson will continue to score that amount of points, considering the weight that's been put on his shoulders there. For him to be able to kick on, he does need a little bit more of a supporting cast.
Sure. Viv, after starting 0-3, Now at 3-3. Great turnaround.
Great turnaround, I'd say so. Yeah, as from last year's regular season champion, who didn't use his own rule.
Yeah.
I'll continue to keep you telling people that, Viv, because that's a joke, mate. I want to push for something that I don't use.
Love it. So that was the recap. So no power rankings once again. I think Tom's just making it a point not to release them before the podcast.
Well, you never know. So if you get them beforehand, so you've got like 2 hours to enjoy them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, indeed. So we'll go straight to the standings and stats. We'll start off with the milestones, standings and stats. So we'll start with the milestones. There are a few round numbers this week. Let's see if we can find them. Interesting tidbit though. Tom and my dad faced off last week, and Tom won, so he does draw one closer to the all-time wins total. Phil, however, notched his 80th regular season win. Congrats. Ben notched his 60th regular season loss.
Not so good.
No, not so good indeed.
You could.
I could. Yes. Tell me.
You could be the losingest coach you already are. But
in the regular season.
At least you can roundly say that you are this week.
I could be the first coach to get to 80 regular season losses, which is almost a foregone conclusion, considering you would need to lose 5 more to beat me to it. The next closest, so.
Yeah.
Ross won last week, so no round numbers for you. Looking in the all-time statistics. With 1, so nothing there.
I'm climbing towards my
you are
0.5 season. I need 4 more wins net across the course of the year.
Yeah.
So come on.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my target.
Indeed. Standings then. Southampton division. So Tuckford's still at the top there, 2 games clear of the Dream Team at 3-3. Great turnaround, as we said. So Dream Team would have been in last at one point. Now 7th seed, 2nd in their division. Patterson is 3rd. Here with 2 and 4, moved ahead of Mike, who is also on 2 and 4. Portsmouth division, Tom Tarrant's currently leading that one up, 4 and 2. Ixan hot on the heels at 3 and 3, with the Detonators and Hausch can kick a ball, 2 and 4. And then Winchester division, it's a 3-way battle. For the
absolute
one
battle royale down there, yeah.
4 and 2, Forge Flyers leading it with Ben Necessity 2nd, John Potter 3rd, and then something's got to give with Gridiron Gang at 1 and 5.
Who is the highest scoring team in the league? That's what I want to know.
It's
still Phil. Just
over you, Chris, but that could change very soon.
But I will say this to Gypsy Phil and his gypsy band of people. Look at that, 459 scored against. 459, everybody. That is significantly
There
lower.
is no other team under 500.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, apart from Mike, who's at 473.
473, but 459. That is partly the reason why he's 5 and 1.
Indeed.
Partly.
And you look at the breakdown. Like Phil did have a couple of spotty weeks. He did get back to 9 and 2 last week, so still at the top here with Ben SSCs, who've just been consistent. Right behind, same for you, really, Chris. You're at 3 at 45 and 21. Then you get into the middle ground there, and then the usual suspects, as they should be at this point in time. So no great injustice going on there. Coach rating, Ben SSC stayed top with 27 through 6 weeks, but there was not a lot of depth on that team.
No.
The Dream Team, similar story. They're at 14 second. Chris, however, you're doing a good job. 73 points there in 3rd place. But you do have a bit more depth, I would say, than the top 2 teams there. Then we have Mike, Ixan at 5th, as you'd expect. And then we get to the bottom. Tom has left a whopping 200 points on his bench. The next closest 124. So
200 points.
Yeah, considering he's 4 and 2 still, it's quite impressive and quite. Tom's team perhaps much better than it seems. And then we get to the true rankings, more or less as you'd expect. Ben Necessities and Forge Flyers at the top there, with Tuck Files also at 3rd, even though they've got the best record. The power rankings here do show they are not really the best team at the moment. Ross has having a great year too.
Yeah.
Hilarious, we've got 3 of the 4 Winchester teams top 4.
That's right, it's a difficult division to get out of.
Yeah, and Tom, who, as we just said, looking very good. They're in 7th here, so even this doesn't get it right sometimes. But other than that, pretty much as you'd expect. So we'll take a look at Week 7's games now, and to do so, we need to pick a marquee matchup, Chris. What we got? We've got their necessity against the Tuckfards is sticking out for me.
100%.
All Forward Flies against Tom Sorens. I think it's going to... Maybe if we go with this one,
That's it. Yeah, I think that one because it's the I think so.
Okay then.
I think so.
Here we go. The marquee matchup for this week: Bare Necessities against the Tuckfarts.
It's Sunday.
I don't have the Sunday matchup. I realised this about 5 minutes before recording. Bare Necessities take on the Tuckfarts in the, two of the winningest teams in the league so far this season. And 4-2 Bare Necessities, 5-1 Tuckfarts. Projections and a bit of scoring have this in favour of Bare Necessities, who are not only projected to win 90-78, but are currently winning 17-9. Looking down the lineups for Bare Necessities, I don't think there's any changes there for them, so they're still deploying 21 personnel. Meanwhile, Tuckfart's side of the ball, Golden Tate comes into the lineup for them in favour of Jarvis Langer, who's on a bye. They are fielding 20 personnel this week. History of this matchup. Here we go. Bare Necessities are up here, and they are 9-5 all time against the Tuckfarts.
Well, this does pit the team with the best record against the team with the best coach, as we've just seen.
Yeah.
And I really do think that Phil is going to get battered this week. No, there's some method behind the madness here. All right, so I look at Dave's team and I see that he's got Watson against Indy, and the fact that Mahomes only scored 9 points and Watson's against Indy.
It's not a great start.
It's not a great start. Brady's against the poorest Washington defense. Lockett's playing with, as we've just seen, we talk about Russell Wilson, so you can discount the fact that Russell Wilson's going to throw a 50-yard touchdown to Tyler Lockett. He's playing against Baltimore in Seattle.
The pass.
Indeed.
Phil's just joined us as
hey,
well.
Phil. How you doing? That's it, all the way from New Zealand.
How was Hobbiton?
That's it. It looked pretty cool, I must admit. So Edelman questionable against the Jets, but he's going to play.
And they need him because Josh Gordon's not there.
100%. So Justin Tucker playing in windy Seattle could be interesting, but I think that he's the best kicker in football and he's going to be fine. And the Packers D against Oakland, well, the Packers D's been consistently great all year.
I don't know if I love the stream against Oakland though.
But against Oakland,
Oakland's been one of the surprises
in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
We'll see.
There's one game a year that Derek Carr breaks down and looks like a child. And this is the one.
This could be that game. Yep.
But we say that, and the Patriots are playing the Jets, which could get hilarious quite quickly.
I don't know. I think the Jet with Darnold there now, it's in the Meadowlands. I think the Patriots will still probably have a good day.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be what we've seen, as we mentioned earlier.
Possibly not, but I still have a very, very warm feeling inside me that this is going to be a high-scoring affair for the Patriots D there. Okay. Yeah, but you look at the rest of them. Look at the rest of them, right? You've got Ingram in Seattle, which is a bit meh like that. That's it. Barkley, if he's back up,
I think he's playing
full steam ahead against Arizona's looking good. All right, bear in mind that he's probably one of the only offensive weapons that they've got. Same as Golden Tate. If he's back to full fitness, he's playing against Arizona, then that's going to be good too. Mm-hmm. But I don't like Larry even at home anymore. I think that that he's there for a bit of nostalgia factor, and the fact is that he hasn't been thrown to a lot recently. No. And Keenan Allen's in a terrible offense playing in Tennessee against Tennessee, who really the only discernible thing they've got.
Good corners.
Yeah, exactly that. Good corners. So, I think that the QB's going to make a massive difference here. I think that Dave has been... We've seen that team has got consistently good and had a consistent floor all year.
Yeah.
I think that there are certain players like Edelman, like Breda, who can score useful, maybe not unbelievable points, but useful points. Whilst on the other side, I think that there's enough boom or bustness, particularly with their wide receivers, Fitzgerald and Allen, and the over-reliance on the Giants to be able to succeed.
Giants is not enough offense you want to bank on.
No.
Barkley's fine. But
that's right. To be able to beat him. So I really do think Phil is in dire straits this week.
I'm picking Bare Necessities as well. Yeah, don't need to elaborate on that. But Phil is saying Hobbiton was great. Good.
Love it.
Keep putting me down, guys. We will.
We will.
And play best when everyone writes me off. We'll see about that. So
it didn't work for the last half of last season, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
Bare Necessities.
I was hyping you up, so obviously not.
Yeah. Right then, our next game, two of the newest members of the league here. We have House Can Kick a Ball against Bucking the Trend. Battle of the 2 and 4 teams here as they face off to keep their seasons alive. A combined six game losing streak between the two of them. House Can Kick a Ball is massively projected to win this one, 92-75. When we look down the lineups, let's see why. House Can Kick a Ball. Evan Ingram, I believe, comes back into the lineup for Odell Beckham, who's on a bye. David Montgomery comes in as well for Mark Andrews, I think. So House Can Kick a Ball is going with 11 personnel this week. 1 running back, 1 tight end, and 3 receivers. Meanwhile, Bucking the Trend, they are in Australia, so team management duties are fallen to us. They have started Randall Cobb over, Alvin Kamara, who was injured, and I think that was the... Oh, and we brought Daniel Jones in as well in favour of Kirk Cousins. Yeah. So, Bucking the Trend is going with... Ooh, it's very spready this week. 10 personnel, 1 running back, and 4 receivers. 2 injuries there. Cobb and Dossett both should play, though. No history here, so I will hand over to Chris.
Yes, no history. And the history is going to be that Mike, I'm afraid, probably will lose this game. The reason why I say that is because I'm looking at some of the matchups over there on Ollie's team. We've just said that Russell was going to keep them together. Well, he is. He's playing ball. He's going to do again very well. But you'd like to think that the other supporting cast are going to show up this week. The Julios of this world against Los Angeles, I think they're going to have to throw a lot.
Is Jalen Ramsey playing, though, is my question.
Oh, I see it a bit. If he is, then that's it. I'd be surprised, though. He's a bit early. He's a bit early. It's only been a week.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to be assimilated if you just say, go cover that guy, do you?
Yeah, so Hooker is one of the best wide receivers in his generation.
Yeah.
You can't write him off. Especially in a game where I think could be a bit of a barnstormer. I think Cooper Kupp for the same reasons,
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, great matchup against Arizona. We've seen the last few weeks that if you start tight end against Arizona, they score, and they score big.
They sure do.
That's it. Golladay is Minnesota. There's a bit of a mare one for me, but I think Golladay is a number 1 receiver. You can never write a number 1 receiver off.
Montgomery's a bit of a mare one.
I agree there. That's it.
Who else has he got? Let's take a look at the bench. McCoy already played. Duke Johnson. Yeah, I'd probably go with Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews has been solid.
Yeah, he has. But David Montgomery should be the kind of guy that you can trust, but maybe not against that defense. House against Miami, there should be plenty of score opportunities there. So
don't like the Vikings do against.
But the Vikings no. That's it. No. That's it. Not against there. And I'm not really too hot. Well, the Saints you can keep there on there, but I mean Mike's team is a concoction of secondary receivers and people who are out of form. So I think we can write that off immediately. So look, Ollie Gardner's team should win this comfortably. I'd be very surprised if Mike scored over 80 points.
Oof.
And
don't blame us, Mike. It's not our fault.
No, absolutely not. And as you say, if someone does well, everyone's up for trade. So
indeed, yeah, go get them. Yeah,
there's a deal going to be happening.
Yeah, no, you're right. We don't need to do too much analysis on this one, unfortunately.
The history won't show this as a good game.
No, Ollie Gardner to win this for me too. Next game then we have Ixan against the Dream Team.
That's it.
Battle of the 3 and 3 teams. Ixan take on the Dream Team, except Ixan's coming in on a 2-game losing streak. Meanwhile, Viv has rapidly become one of the hottest teams. He's had both extremes, a 3-game loss streak and a 3-game win streak this season, and he's projected to make it 4, 93-91. Looking down the lineups, Frank Gore comes into the lineup for Joe Mixon, who has been benched. Other changes there, none I believe, so they are going with a 31 personnel. I believe the only team or certainly only one of the only teams to implement 31 personnel this season. Ixan, let's see, Todd Gurley comes back into the lineup after his brief injury stint for Tyler Boyd. And George Kittle, does he come back in? No, he was playing last week, I think. Who knows, who cares? Chris, please read me the game from...
Yeah.
Oh, before we do that, sorry, history of this matchup.
Oh, yes.
The Dream Team all-time are 7 and 3 against Ixan. That doesn't bode well.
No, not ideal. Right, So let's try and pick this apart. I just think that Ben, as we said, Ben's team's a little bit out of nick. But when you look down and you go, well, Rivers against Tennessee, I don't like, and I'm not massively keen on Wentz against Dallas either. But that's by and by. I think if you're going to cancel your quarterback out, that's the way to do it. But what I do like, I think Viv's brought in Frank Gore. Is Singletary playing, or is he back this week?
He is back, yep.
Okay, so I don't like it as much as I otherwise would have done, So,
wouldn't worry, though. Even when Singletary was there, I think Gore is still the lead back.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we saw Adrian Peterson do to Miami last week.
Indeed.
I think he's wanting to see the same sort of
revenge game
results.
as well, let's not forget.
Absolutely. Whilst you bring a guy like Todd Gurley in, although he hasn't been firing as much as you expect him to be firing, since the back end of last season, but bring him against Atlanta, you never know what he can do. So I think he could maraud through that lot. Same as Kittle against Washington. There's going to be shitloads of red zone opportunities there, and Kittle's your guy in the red zone for Washington, so they do have a porous defense, and I think he's going to feast there too. As we alluded to earlier on, Dalvin Cook against Detroit, we both didn't like him, still don't. Derrick Henry against the Chargers. The Chargers haven't been great on D this year, but Derrick Henry and particularly the Tennessee offense haven't been great either. It'd be interesting to see with the new QB how he gets leaned on, whether or not he becomes that featured back that he's been threatened to be for the last 2 years, or he just goes into obscurity and they bring in Lewis and they just start, just check down passes to him, which Tannehill's very good at. Calvin Ridley, again, I'm not massively fond of. The Bears against New Orleans. Yeah, if you're gonna play have a defensive team in the NFL, you're gonna have.
They're at home too, Soldier Field.
That's right, and we're not forgetting that New Orleans are playing with the best reserve QB in the league, but a reserve nevertheless.
Yeah.
And
it's the Taysom Hill show.
You heard it here first. They're without they're at the starting running back, and they've only got one receiver of any real notice.
That doesn't bode well, does it?
not at all. So I don't mind that. The Texans against Indy for exactly the same reasons. I think that obviously Indy have the same as one of the best defensive lines in football, but offensive lines in football. But at the same time, the Texans have been consistently decent this year. I'm saying good, but they've been decent.
Yeah.
So they've always got a sack or two in them. But then you look down there a little bit. So we spoke about Gore earlier on. Kerryon Johnson against Minnesota's, again, Ertz against Dallas is especially if Wentz isn't firing. Diggs against Detroit is
This
LA
game
against
has...
Philly is their run D is So I think that Ben has 2 or 3 that could really go off, whilst Viv has 2 or 3 that the matchup will squash them down a little bit. I don't think the 126 points from last week is obviously clear.
No.
With the Dream Team this week, and the record speaks for itself. We've seen many times in the LOC that weird records happen for a reason.
Sure.
So I think Ixan have got the better of it this week, only just. And the Dream Team lost 3 in a row for a reason with the same sort of team. So I know they won 3 with exactly the same team recently, but I'm feeling good on Ben this week.
I'm going Dream Team.
Okay.
That's what we're differing on. Because the history resides with the Dream Team. 7-3.
Oh, sorry, I read it wrong, but that's it. That's fair. But no, I'm still going against. I'm going against it.
And this just has the feel of something like a 90 to 85 game to me. Either way, 100%. To be quite honest with you. So I just think the Dream Team has been the better team in form. Well, you're absolutely right. The players in the matchups don't necessarily inspire you to a lot. The exact same can be said about Ixan, and I just think I prefer the Dream Team at this point in time a bit more than Ixan. But it could go either way. So
100%. As the projections show, there's only 1 point.
Exactly. So our next game then, we have it's Forge Flyers against Tom's Tyrants. Battle of the 4 and 2s, the division leading teams, Forge Flyers and Tom's Tyrants face off this week. Tom's Tyrants is currently projected to take this one 96 to 88. We'll see why that is in a second. Let's start with Chris. Your team, you have brought Marlon Mack back into the lineup for Mike Evans, who's on a bye. T.Y. Hilton returns from a bye also, and he replaces Christian McCaffrey, who is on a bye. Latavius Murray comes in from the waiver wire in favour of... Help me, Chris.
So it comes in
Did you drop the player?
Will Disley, who's injured.
There you go. And on Tom's Tyrant's side, any changes to speak of there? Yes, Hunter Henry comes in from the waiver, the big spend player, and he starts over Chris Godwin.
Eckler's gone, and Alshon Jeffrey's in there too.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. So, Chris, you are coming out with 31 personnel as well, and Tom is coming out with 21 personnel. History of this matchup, all time. Tom's Tyrants. Let's look at you, Chris. Forge Flies are 3-8 all time against Tom's Tyrants.
Yeah, I've just got a funny feeling that it's probably going to be the same this week. I don't really know why.
He's caught you on a good week. I'll say that.
He has caught me on a good week. That's true. Yes, I'm without McCaffrey. I'm without Evans. You know, there's some two major targets in there, but I'm still got a core of a decent team.
Yep,
I suppose.
I agree.
So you know, we saw what Kirk Cousins did to Philadelphia last week. Hopefully, Dak does the same thing.
It's really time to panic for the Cowboys if they don't succeed against a porous Philadelphia secondary.
100%. They went off like an absolute train at the beginning of the season. You know, so they were saying to Kellen Moore, "Oh yeah, he's the guy. And
then they played teams that can actually win a game.
That's right. And then he wasn't the guy anymore. You know, but again, Kyler Murray playing on the East Coast against the Giants. I think that it'd be an interesting matchup there as well. You know, so it'd bring him out of his comfort zone, out of the warmth, out of the domes. That's it. Play him in the cold, in the wind, in the Meadowlands. That's it. We'll see how we get on with that. But
I don't mind that.
He's been good, and I think that because his ability to run around a lot gives him that consistent floor. Fantasy wise, it shouldn't be a problem.
No.
Yeah, he hasn't got all the weapons in the world, but yeah, I think that he'll still be fine. I think Fournette against Cincinnati will be fine. I think Carson against Baltimore will be used a lot. I think Hunter Henry against Tennessee is going to be an interesting one. It all depends on whether or not they can get that connection going against the decent Tennessee defense. Chuck against Cincinnati for the same reasons, I think, as Fournette. You know, so again, decent matchups there. Jeffrey against Dallas in the same matchup.
Just got torched by the Jets of all teams. So.
Exactly. And the 49ers against Washington should be absolutely well funny. But we do counter that with the Bills against Miami.
Yeah, that's a nice counter.
The Bills have done very, very well this year. They're at home against Miami. I think that again there, you know, for all the good the 49ers do against Washington, the Bills will do against Miami. Other than that, you know, Hyde against Indianapolis, I kind of like that, but hopefully he gets the same sort.
I think Indy's run D is pretty good.
He's pretty good, but he's getting a lot of volume now. Marlon Mack against Houston, same things. That, you know, they got a decent run D. Hilton against Houston, yes, in the same game, hasn't really been targeted too much for the last two. Played against Kansas City last time. They've had a bye in between. Didn't do a great deal. Austin Hooper's been a good pickup.
He has, yeah.
You know, George Kittle went for big yards against LA in the last game. I think that he could do the same thing, especially as they haven't got, you know, abundance of red zone targets outside of Julio. Latavius Murray's a bit of a roll of the dice, if I'm honest.
I would strongly suggest you go somewhere else on the field than Latavius Murray.
I don't really have anywhere else to go.
Not Christian Kirk. You wouldn't play Christian Kirk.
I don't think Christian Kirk's going to play, mate.
Okay.
And
I agree. Darren Waller. Would you not play Darren Waller?
I do like him. But again...
I just can't see any route to Murray having a good day, personally.
I've got no one else. I would play... I like Waller. I think that he's... I think he gets a lot of targets, but he hasn't scored a touchdown this year.
No, that's right.
That's my real problem. So, that's probably the only... At this point, anyway, and this is Sunday at 1:42. That's the only thing I could change. But yeah, I think Tom's gonna have a great day again. I think he's been in form, and as we've seen, he had plenty of points sloshing around in his team somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's gonna be enough to beat me this week. But that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You know, so I'll get the bye weeks out of the way. Then we're going to have a bit of a better time of it.
Yeah, I'm going Tom's Tyrants too, just to not overcomplicate things. But yes. Just a bit. He's got you on a good week, like I said.
100%.
Next, then, we have two founding teams facing off in Gridiron Gang, or another two founding teams facing off, I should say, in Gridiron Gang and the Detonators. It's a battle of the bottom end of the table this week as the 12th place Gridiron Gang take on the 8th place The Detonators. Currently projected in Bedetna's favour to win this one, unsurprisingly, 88-79. Looking down the lineups, Gridiron Gang, they've had Lindsay play, who disappointed on Thursday night with 3. In terms of other changes, Brandon Cooks comes into the lineup for Juju Smith-Schuster, DJ Moore. Devin Singletary makes his first start of the season as well, in favour of the now dropped James White. So Gridiron Gang are going with 30 personnel this week. Meanwhile, the Detonators, they are playing... Have they made any changes? Jamal Williams, as I said, yep, he's come in favour of Sammy Watkins, I think, who is now injured. And no other changes there, so they are also going with 30 personnel this week. The history of this matchup, Gridiron Gang is 3-9 all time against the Detonators. And David Johnson should play, by the way. He's got an ankle.
And that's fine. I think David Johnson against the Giants is good. Alright, so let's try and work this out. Now, you've obviously got 3 points on the board already, so congratulations.
Woohoo. I hate Thursday night games.
Yep, so do I. That's why I put Damian Williams on the bench. And then drops him because he didn't.
I just it's every week. Every week I see it's like, oh, it's a reasonably good matchup. Let's go with it.
Yep.
And it didn't work.
They just completely.
Chiefs.
Flops,
yeah, they suck against the run. Let's play Philip Lindsay. 3 points.
Yeah.
Great.
To get beasted. Yeah.
He's obviously still the sleeper agent for the Detonators after last season.
Clearly, he's the one season wonder. Well.
No, he's been pretty good this year. He's actually been my team's highest scoring player.
You're joking.
I'm not.
You don't play him every week, though.
I've been playing him every week for the last 3 weeks because of that reason. I realised that I should probably play the only player on my team scoring points.
That's probably the right move. I like this week. I'm not going to lie. The defenses are great. I mean, you got the Chargers against the Titans with a new QB, or not a new QB, but a QB that hasn't played much this year, and you've got against the woeful Cincinnati Bengals. The Jags, Jalen Ramsey, but who cares?
They've been without
for a while. Yeah, exactly. Singletary against Miami. So we saw when we spoke about Viv's team, it's going to be either him or Gore. I think that's Singletary gets the yards and Gore gets the touchdowns. We saw in the first
couple of games that they could both succeed.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if he gets the yards and Gore gets the touchdowns, then so be it. Cooks against Atlanta. I think if one game for Brandon Cooks' deep threat ability, it's going to be this one.
Yep.
Hopkins against Indianapolis should be fine. I mean, you think it's every week.
I'm waiting for him to come good.
This has got to be it, because if it's not him, it's going to be Will Fuller on the other side. You're going to get mashed.
Yeah.
Freeman against LA, we've seen him play well last week. Yes, he was playing against Arizona, but he's playing against Los Angeles this week. They've not been the Los Angeles of last season. We're not going to sit here and say that, but I'd love to see them do well.
Mm-hmm.
And Brady against the Jets. Well,
he's not going to light the world up, certainly not.
No.
With a full, healthy receiving core,
100%.
But he's probably going to be good.
You're going to be alright for 20 points there, I'd say. Well, on the other side, Lamar in Seattle is probably his toughest matchup to date. But again, we saw with Kyler Murray in the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Solid, consistent floor.
Yeah.
And he's been scoring 30 points or more all year.
I think he ran. I don't know if it was last week, but he ran for 150 yards. I think it was last week.
That's it.
Mental.
It's a joke. So even with points like that, he doesn't need to be able to be the most accurate thrower, nor throw a lot. To be to giving you a decent points total every week, especially there. David Johnson is becoming better. Aaron Jones against Oakland should be great. Fuller, it's either going to be Fuller or Hopkins. You're going to see the one, as we said before.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams has been very boom or bust, more bust than boom, I would say. He's going with the two Green Bay running backs, and rightly so against Oakland.
You say rightly so, though. They did a great job of shutting down the run game against the Bears. And Green Bay are without Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Devontae Adams, and Geronimo Allison.
Well, you know where you're going. Straight down the middle with two running backs.
Yeah, so that's where you're stopping.
That's right. Well, I guess, but
I think it's a huge risk to play both. I can understand it.
They've been doing it all year, and they've been doing great things. Yeah,
with the receiving core.
I think you've got a transcendent QB like Aaron Rodgers.
You have.
That's it. As you've got a transcendent QB on the other side of Brady, you don't need a receiving core for them to be good. You just need a system and a QB that works. Okay. And with Aaron Rodgers, you have that. And with Jones and Williams, you have a double team of two of the best, powerful running backs in the league. So they don't do anything particularly special. They don't receive. They just pound. And as we saw last week, so it doesn't matter which one of them it might be.
Yeah.
So they're going to get.
That's more my point, though. It's like it does feel like more one or the other. So I don't like playing both.
But would you rather play both of them than play somebody else on his bench? You play the likes of.
Yeah, I guess it's not going to the wrong.
Exactly. You don't want to play anybody else other than that, right? So, I think that playing the best of a bad situation, bearing in mind they're playing at home against Oakland as well. That I think they'll be fine. As for the win here, well, I mean this could be closer than you think.
I think so too.
I really do. Again, it depends on which of the Texans receivers do well.
Yeah.
It depends if Cooks has a good day. The defenses should cancel each other out. I think you've probably got a better matchup just than the Chargers do, because the Chargers haven't been nearly as good. I think the Jags D was the transformative defensive unit of a couple of years ago. That hasn't changed a great deal. They lost obviously Jalen Ramsey, but other than that, everyone else is still there. So it's very challenging. I think that if the run game on Ollie's team comes alive, and that's inclusive of the running of the QB, then that gives him a very, very, very solid platform for a win. Unfortunately, with a team like yours, who really has been pretty spotty recently, I can't pick a team that's been that spotty. But I can see it being closer than we may think.
Yeah, I'm going Nets as well. Absolutely, certainly. My heart kind of sank when I saw the 3 points when I woke up, because I actually felt good this week for the first time in a few weeks. So that was quite frustrating. But despite that, like you said, I do still see a route to victory. Ollie, like I mentioned, the risk of starting two running backs on the same team, if they're to be able to be negated, we won't debate if it will happen or not.
Yeah.
But if they can be, it's a massive boost for my team. And like we said, Mike Williams and Will Fuller as well, they're not the most reliable players on any team. So there's definitely a route, but even though Ollie's struggled as well at 2 and 4, it's hard to look past him for the win this week as well. Then our final game of this week, then we have John Potter against Pakistan. Well, we had the 1 and 4 bowl last week. Now we've got the 2 and 4 bowl, because we have the 4 and 2 John Potter taking on the 2 and 4 Pakistan. Both teams coming off of a win, however. Projections, though, are in favour of the 2 and 4 team, 97 to 88 in favour of Pat, and that's largely due to Tyreek Hill's 13 points and Harrison Butker's 12 points on Thursday night. Brandon McManus got a big fat 0 on Thursday night. I'll talk about Thursday night nightmares. In Pat's lineup, what changes do we have? I'm trying to figure it out. Curtis Samuel goes to the bench in favour of, I think, Jordan Howard, maybe?
Yeah.
And
Gardner Minshew's dropped.
Gardner Minshew's dropped, of course, for Josh Allen, who's playing Miami. So Pat is going with 20 personnel this week. Meanwhile, Ross, any changes there?
Josh Jacobs comes back in.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs comes back in for Emmanuel Sanders.
Sonny Michel comes back in for Amari Cooper.
He sure does. Okay, so they are going with 30 personnel this week. History of this matchup. Where is Pat? Pat is down here against Ross's team. 2 and 2 all time. Take it away, Chris.
Well, I think if we start with the QB first of all, that's the thing that takes my eye. Is that Matt Ryan is in an interesting matchup, which could well be a shootout against the Rams, whilst Josh Allen's against the best matchup he's going to be against all season.
Yeah.
So
easily,
the question I've got here is that what will eventually come out on top? Will Matt Ryan's big playability, which we've seen over the last 3 weeks, come out again, which he's going to need to be? well, Josh Allen's just general play again. He accumulates a lot of running yards as well.
I think the tricky thing with Josh Allen is certainly in the matchup against Miami is they profile just to run it with Gore and Singletary a lot, whereas Matt Ryan's going to have to sling it all day long.
Yeah, so I think there Ross may well have an advantage there, but he is already down, and he is already down by 25 points. That's it, and this is the benefit of hindsight that we get now. So Bucker with the 12, very handy 12, and Hill with a 13. You look at the other guys on here. You've got Bell against the New England defense, not great. You've got McLaurin against the San Francisco defense, not great. You got Michael Gallup.
That's pretty good.
I like it against Philly, but he didn't really get seen to last week, but he was playing.
And Amari Cooper's out this week as well.
Out this week, or certainly he's close to being out. He's not going to be full 100%, so you expect him to step up. Jordan Howard against Dallas, that's a bit of a meh. Whilst on the other side, I've said this every week that I've been doing this podcast for the last 6 years. If I see at anything, I don't tend to like it as much. At Green Bay, at Dallas, at Atlanta, at Chicago, at the New York Jets, at Seattle. You just don't play as well away from home. As simple as that. No. You just don't. Josh Jacobs maybe played very well in London, but will he play as well in Green Bay against that D? Miles Sanders had a good week last week playing against Dallas.
It's a committee though. I don't know. Is Sproles back? Do we know?
That's it. I don't,
because he operated in the receiving back role, so he could be okay. But Dallas' D is okay.
Robert Woods, you're playing roulette with every week. As I said earlier, I think Brandon Cooks is a better option, especially against that Atlanta D. I think that's a tough matchup for Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
An even tougher matchup with Teddy Bridgewater, and he's the key there. And Sony Michel against the Jets.
You figure they're gonna try and run a lot,
but again, it's another committee that you can't quite work out. And the Ravens against Seattle. Well, as we saw, Russell Wilson's been burning up defense. Doesn't matter how good they are.
It's not great.
So, this is going to be a fairly low scoring affair. I think that because Pat's already got the advantage, I'm going to go with him. But
it does just scream again. Ross's team is
Matt Ryan or bust for them.
That's exactly it. Matt Ryan to get 30-40 points to make it looking like an okay week. Pat's team to stumble maybe to 80.
Yeah.
And
if you're already net 12 down on your kicker anyway, that's a problem.
Yeah, and Pat's already got 13 in the bag, from a positional player.
That's right, exactly that. So I think the Pat can turn a corner here. I really do. And who said that a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, indeed. I'm going Pakistan as well, and that is the end of the preview show. So how did you like your game day build up pod?
That's it. Well, I do you know what? At least you get into the swing of it early. So we've only got. Wherever you are in the world, by the way, I'm sure it's the same. We've only got 4 hours till kick off somewhere. So
Phil indeed said, I'm now going back to bed 2 a.m. pod.
2 a.m. in New Zealand. So wake up at 4 hours. At least at 6 a.m. you can get up, and I suppose it's a Monday morning there. That's a bit depressing. Wake up and watch NFL at 6 a.m. on Monday.
That is pretty depressing.
Wow.
Yeah, anyway.
That's it. It's not like a nice end to the week it is here.
Indeed. So, we hope you enjoyed the game day pod, and I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, Chris. And indeed, the rest of you, fuck you, Phil, for being on Monday. It's going to be a bad day. Good luck in your fantasy matchups, unless you're playing me, of course. Goodbye.